This video is brought to you by the 2026 Essay Library 48-Hour Essay Jam. Check the link in the description to watch this and the other video jam submissions. And by contribution to patreon.com/Henry Kathman from viewers like you. Thank you. As the world continues to evolve in the ever-shifting tides of chaos that define our universe, two ideas push humanity towards their desperate goals. Be they of altruism or goals most contemptible, the forces of victory and defeat motivate all of us in different ways. For some, the forces of victory usher us towards these goals like that of an inviting goddess wishing to reward our labor. For others, the sheer thought of loss in any form can cause some to forgo their humanity and empathy if it means that they don't deny themselves the warm embrace of success. Such forces can create sensations likened to narcotics, as some, in truth, will crave the dopamine rush that can only be produced by a win. This is a truth that has been known for much of human history, a truth put to words as far back as the Third Macedonian War by Polybius in the 10th volume of Historia, declaring, "Those who know how to win are much more numerous than those who know how to make proper use of their victories."
No, you didn't click on the wrong video. I've had a lot of thoughts on Game Changer. Also, I almost bought a pinstripe suit for this bit until my wife rightfully pointed out that A, I would look terrible in a pinstripe pattern, and B, I don't need a second suit. Game Changer is a comedy show created and hosted by Sam Reich for the streaming service Dropout. First airing in 2019, Game Changer has continued to inundate the internet with no shortage of viral clips, as a rotating cast of contestants are subjected to games that they know nothing about. One episode might involve players trying to pitch strange products like an all-green Rubik's Cube or lemon parmesan. Another observes contestants being placed in an escape room without their knowledge. The one constant throughout all of this is Sam Reich's persona, as he guides the players through each game like a mixture of a trickster god and a used car salesman Shoot, I forget. Where is Sam from? The show has such an eclectic cast, variety of premises, and staggering levels of creativity that it has managed to help Dropout become a staple of the new media environment we find ourselves in amidst the age of streaming. Where other online services have found themselves failing or merging, Dropout has maintained its foothold and independence, recently passing over 1 million subscribers as of 2025. Even with this success and all of the praise this show has received, one question continues to burn into my mind. Is Game Changer even a game show?
The impetus for this question comes from one of my brothers, who absolutely loves game shows. I'm talking watching 1985 reruns of Supermarket Sweep, having hot takes about the TBS reboot of Wipeout, coming up with strategies for if our family was on The Amazing Race. Absolutely loves game shows. Hypothetically, he would be the kind of person that Game Changer would be built for. After all, many episodes pay tribute to different shows like Deal or No Deal, The Price is Right, and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And some episodes play on the rules of shows like Survivor, Shark Tank, and The Bachelor. The show has even been graced by game show royalty like Howie Mandel and Alex Horn.
This is the kind of thing that I thought was going to be a slam dunk with him, a shared interest that we could bond over. But when it came time for me to show an episode to him over the holidays, it lands with an absolute thud, and my game show loving brother has no interest whatsoever. I do not fault my brother for not being into the show, to be clear. Though, Will, if you're watching, I can send you my Dropout password anytime. I think you would enjoy Gastronauts. But this kind of reaction speaks to the position we place game shows in the world of entertainment, and the fundamental appeal to those who watch them. Because as popular as Game Changer has become with certain audiences, it doesn't seem to be appealing in the same manner as the game shows my brother likes.
Since first emerging on radio and television in the 1930s with shows like Spelling Bee and Truth or Consequences, the game show has been a format that has retained its foothold within the entertainment industry. Part of that foothold comes from economic cost, as an average game show is far cheaper to produce in large quantities compared to scripted television, making them an appealing prospect for television networks and streaming services. Though the shows that actually stick around tend to do so because they operate in a narrative formula that is both compelling and consistent. Fundamentally, traditional game shows are built on the basis of competition, as contestants participate in challenges with straightforward rules and clear stakes that primarily take the form of prizes. The overall story structure of the show remains consistent to the point of rigidity, and yet, there is just enough variation in the steps and outcomes of the challenges that it doesn't go completely stale. When you are watching an episode of Jeopardy! The plot and premise of an episode aired in 2026 is largely the same as one aired in 1964. The only thing that changes is the kinds of questions that the host asks and who the ultimate winner is. Under this formula, traditional game shows have the same narrative appeal of watching sports, wherein both the conflict can be broken down into the binary outcomes of win or lose. Likewise, the progression towards this resolution is also easy to understand. Outside of the rare instances of someone cheating, the rules of traditional game shows clearly communicate the reasons why the conflict was resolved the way it did. The contestants didn't guess the right word, the players successfully navigated the obstacle course, the group was able to deduce the identity of the traitor. Because the conflicts and stakes are so easily established, it removes all elements of uncertainty outside of how the conflict is resolved. The result of all of this are shows that largely present a low-pressure pitch for an audience's attention, one that doesn't require prerequisite knowledge outside of the rules, and one that doesn't necessitate long-term engagement across multiple episodes. But Game Changer is fundamentally built on rejecting that premise. Because the game changes in almost every episode, part of that narrative appeal ordinarily comes out of the novelty in the viewers discovering the rules of the game alongside the players, meaning that we repeatedly don't know the stakes of winning and losing the game until the end. Though oftentimes, whether or not someone actually wins the game seems to be secondary to the actual concerns that Sam seems to have when making this show, and is conversely more focused on using the show to highlight different aspects of the cast members. No episode highlights this better than Season 2, Episode 11, Yes or No, an episode that is built on designing a game where the only rule is Brennan Lee Mulligan can't win, and using his increasingly frustrated reactions to his loss as a source of comedy. You likely know about Game Changer because you saw one of the many clips of Brennan Lee Mulligan breaking into a monologue as a result of these games. But just as the show indulges in some light cruelty towards the contestants, it will just as often indulge in insane levels of kindness. In Season 7, Episode 9, the team at Dropout used the premise of a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire pastiche as a love letter to cast member Jacob Wysocki, where yes or no altered the rules to make it impossible for Brennan to win. In this episode, Sam constructed the game so it was impossible for Jacob to lose, also Jacob could win the gift of $100,000. In such a paradigm, the fundamental conflict of winning and losing is thrown out the window. But in spite of this, Game Changer still enraptures audiences and fills the same kind of comfort that traditional game shows fills for others. This might speak to a litany of things, but the aspect that is best highlighted by this is the environment that has been cultivated by the cast and crew of Dropout. In a time where the entertainment industry is increasingly consolidated and commodified by inhuman corporate interest, when the contributions of artists are met without proper recognition and compensation, and any efforts made to create works that better reflect our diverse and complicated world are met with the regressive whinging of outrage merchants. Game Changer and Dropout prove that it is possible to create the same spectacle found in a Mr. Beast or Squid Game without exploiting people's financial desperation. That it is possible to create a show that is strange and sometimes intense, but still respects the players and the audience enough to not cross personal boundaries. That it is possible to find success online without devolving into the most exploitative measures that are pushed by the tech industry. That it is possible to create a game show where it doesn't matter if you win or lose, but how you change the game.
To revisit the question asked at the beginning of this video, is Game Changer even a game show? Yes, obviously, duh. I mean, you could be technical and say it's a panel show, but on a philosophical level, shows like Game Changer present a reminder that while winning and losing are core parts of life, the connections we make while we play are far more important. Thank you for watching. Best wishes. Also, special thanks to Potato for being in this video with me. And you might be wondering, oh, where was Potato? I didn't see him in this video. Well, he's been here the whole time. Please don't copyright this video, please. It was such a pain in the ass, if you please. Oh, I guess I'll like, comment, and subscribe. I really need to go to sleep right now.